Hi, I'm Phil Bennett, and today I'm going to be presenting all about my safaris with On Safari Inn at BNI ARC. Thank you, Jeff. That was on my honeymoon as well when I was stuck in a mud thing. So I'm going to talk to you all a lot about safari in the coming years. So I just want to tell you a little bit more about who this strange yet mysterious foreigner is, who is a safari guide. So this is me. This is me just here, and my wife, Tricia. And this is on our last full day in Africa before we left a couple of years ago. And an African wild dog here, which is just wonderful for our second to last day there, the rarest carnivore sub-Sahara. So it was a real special goodbye. So this is me and my wife, who it was our 2-year anniversary on Monday. So. And this is where I'm from. I'm from England, and I'm from Bristol, which is down here. Most Americans don't necessarily know it. It's 8 miles away from Bath, not too far away from London. And I was born and I was raised in Bristol. My mum and my dad divorced when I was 7 years old. I remained with my mum and her family in Bristol, and my dad moved for work up to Scotland, up to Glasgow. And this is my mum and my mum's side of the family. So my mum's in the corner just to the left of me here. That's my wife Tricia and her mum, and and this is my grandmother just here. My grandmother's very special to me. My mum brought me up as a single working parent, so I spent a lot of time with my grandmother. And this is my stepdad and my mum's husband, Mike. But a big influence in my life and how I came to love wildlife and the outdoors is my dad. And this is my dad just here. This is us on the Isle of Mull, just off on the west coast of Scotland, and we're there taking pictures of otters and sea eagles. My dad has always been a big outdoorsman, not a hunter, an outdoorsman, a fisherman, a wildlife photographer all his life, a mountaineer. He was involved in the scouting movement and assessed the scouts' mountaineer guides. And so he dragged me up the Scottish mountains in the pouring rain when I was little, and I grew to love it. So that's my dad. So that's how I grew to have a love of wildlife. If you'd asked me when I was young what I wanted to be when I grew up, I would have said I want to be Sir David Attenborough, which is this man. He's a legend. Not all Americans know him, but he basically started wildlife documentaries in the 50s. He was the first controller of the BBC, of BBC Two. There's 2 BBC channels, BBC One, BBC Two. And so he is a legendary conservationist. He's 92 now, and he's sort of my idol. Before that, I worked in Glasgow as a newspaper printer for everybody's favourite media mogul, Mr. Rupert Murdoch. He offered redundancies for whatever reasons, and it amounted to a year's salary after tax. So I said, yes, please, I'll have that. And I moved away to Africa, and I did a volunteer research project in Africa. This is my great friend Katie. She ran the research project, and she is a researcher herself. This is a lion that had a radio telemetry device implanted in her. It was an old device. Now they use collars, but this old device had stopped working and needed to be removed because it has a battery in it, and if that battery leaked, then it could do her damage. So this is actually an operation to take it out. It was big, like this. Thank God we're now onto collars. When I was there the first time, this is in South Africa, when I was there the first time, I understood it was possible for foreigners to go across and learn to become a safari guide. I did that. I did a year-long course, spent all of Rupert's money on that. And that training course is a whole different story. Lots happened on that training course, and maybe I'll tell you one day about that. My real education came when I started working for a camp called Transfrontiers Wildlife Walking Safaris. really great to get a job straight away at training in a walk-in safari company. Only about 5% of guides are walk-in trained guides. It's a very different field. And this is me helping to build a camp. We were rebuilding the camp. And the real educators after training are the African people. These two people here, this is Olga, she was a chef, and this is Isaac. They're Shangaan people. Their tribe is Shangaan. They live around the Kruger National Park area. All the African people are my real educators, and some of the wealthiest people that I know. Wealthy in knowledge and grace, if not monetary. Isaac was a big educator for me. He's a tracker, wildlife tracker, and he taught me how to track. At the age of 9 years old, he could identify the different cattle in his dad's herd just from the tracks. This is me and my team in Tanzania. This is a crocodile and hippo-infested lake. Our boat was taken by floodwaters to the middle of the lake, and this is what you have to do if you want your boat back. This is an example of us coming together and what living together in the bush means. White and black, tribal differences, they all go out the window. I worked with 30 of these people. Half were Christian, half were Muslim. It doesn't matter. We just get on with it and all get on together. And this is us playing football on our downside, soccer, on an airstrip, and getting a team talk from our head chef, Fulgence. His team talk was basically shouting what we were having for dinner. Kuku nawali, which means chicken and rice. And this is me on a walking safari, looking at a view of the African bush. This is a river just here, and all that you can see was exclusively used by us for walking. It's not a hunting safari. The rifle is for our protection only, and our safety are as a last resort. I luckily never had to use my rifle against an animal. This is us on a walking safari, and if we're on a walking safari, we're looking at the small stuff as well as the big stuff. We might see the big stuff, but only view it if it's safe to do so. And we might find this. This is a track of a rhinoceros. And we can tell a little bit by the age of this. We found this at 7:30 in the morning, and it's not that fresh. I can tell that because a scrub hare has sat inside the track. And a scrub hares only move at night. So this was definitely put down by the rhino in hours of darkness. In any case, you can follow it. We found where the rhino led down until morning. We kept following, and after 2 or 3 hours, we come across the rhino. He was at a watering hole with a buffalo. The buffalo is very aware of our presence, the rhino isn't. And we could view it and walk away without disturbing it. So this is Africa. This is where I was at this time, South Africa. 4 years of my life was down here in Kruger National Park. Tanzania is where I spent the last 8 years. And in this region here, the Selous Game Reserve. This is the Okavango Delta, where some of my safaris are going. You can see what a big geographical feature it is. And when you come on safari with me, we'll see some amazing mammals. This leopard is in Selous Game Reserve. He's a beauty, one of my favorite animals. Some really beautiful bird life. Amazing food. The food is fresh. We eat healthier and better over there. The African chefs are second to none. And we might even, while we're eating dinner, this is a dining room in one of the last camps I worked in, and we might even have these elephants come and join us for dinner. Beautiful sunsets and wonderful people. So that's my presentation. Thanks very much.